Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is me, Kirill, your justice analyst for Belarus living in Germany. Today is an extremely special video for me. Why? Let me tell you. Today we of course keep talking about the entries selected for Eurovision Song Contest 2026, but this one is quite special for me personally, that's why it's coming sort of out of schedule. And of course today it's about Australia, as you have seen in the thumbnails. Once the rumors have been confirmed who will represent this beautiful nation, I just knew I can't miss but making my reaction as fast as possible, because the representative of Australia in Eurovision 2026 will be 41 years old Delta Goodrem, aka my most favorite singer in the world since my childhood and actually the biggest star in Australia. In Australia, when it comes to the amount of #1 albums, #1 singles, Delta Goodrem is beating even Kylie Minogue, not even talking about Sia. Maybe she's not as famous internationally, but she is definitely Australia's sweetheart. Delta became a true miracle in Australia in the beginning of 2000s when the 16 years old girl appeared in a nationwide popular series called The Neighbours, where she was playing one of the characters who was performing her own songs, and then those songs just became viral, charted everywhere, became internationally successful. So everything leads, to a super successful career, tours and everything, but unfortunately her fate was not as easy.
I'm taking this as like a rebirth thing. That's what it means. I settled, trying to decide whether this is getting any better or not. It doesn't feel like.
In 2003, she was diagnosed with cancer, had to cancel all her tours, was winning all those awards while fighting for her life. But luckily, she could overcome all these difficulties, became such a popular, such a successful singer-songwriter in Australia, such a big TV personality. She was a host of The Voice in Australia, just like Guy Sebastian, who actually represented Australia in 2015. If I have to pick my favorite songs from Delta, it's really an impossible task because I absolutely love everything she releases. She writes all her songs by herself, sometimes with the help of some additional producers, but I can still add for you a couple of my personal favorite songs, which are maybe not the most famous from her. And after partnering with her label Sony for like 20 years, she decided that she can do it just on her own. She became an independent artist, released her single Back to Your Heart. And even came with a tour to Europe. I actually have been to her concerts a couple of times. Well, I don't want to flex, but I even have a picture with her. I could talk to her, could hug her. It was such a dream come true when she came with a very small concert to Berlin even before that world tour. So I'm extremely excited for this new chapter in Delta's career. I really hope that now being on this independent label called Elted, which is just Delta reversed. So I'm extremely excited and proud to see that Delta is now entering this new chapter in her career, going to Eurovision, which is quite a challenge for every artist, to represent her country, to win new fans in Europe. But what song did she prepare? So the song is titled Eclipse. Of course, it's written by Delta herself with the help of a couple of other composers who have actually no connection to Eurovision, except surprisingly for Jonas Murin, who is the Swedish composer, worked with lots of stars from around the world, but he even produced once one song for Swedish Melodifestivalen. And before I go to the first listen of the song, just an interesting fact for you: Delta Goodrem has been already part of the team of Australia for Eurovision Song Contest 2015, but it was Junior Eurovision Song Contest where she wrote the entry for Bella Page called My Girls. That song was actually planned to become the first single for the winner of The Voice of Australia. It was Anya Neeson back then, but her producer will.i.am just advised her against that song because it wouldn't fit her personal style. And interestingly, even Anya Neeson ended up in Eurovision Song Contest, but representing Denmark 2 years later. I can definitely talk for eternity about Delta Goodrem and her works, but let's just get right into the first listen of her song Eclipse. As always, for my first listen, I will just go through the whole song without pausing, giving you just my small remarks from time to time. Then we will take a look at the lyrics of the song, and afterwards we will take a look once again. Unfortunately, we don't have live performance, so we will take a look again at the official music video. I will pause throughout and will give you my little bit more extensive comments. And I have to warn you, due to the copyright, I cannot show you more than 5 seconds between my comments. That's why it will look like I have cut so much of the song, but I'm listening to the whole one, and I'm definitely recommending you to check out the whole song on Delta Goodrem's official YouTube channel, which I will link right here. This landscape is beautiful.
In the moonlight,
It's Delta.
planets are aligning to love.
So we have some celestial references in the lyrics.
One touch, one kiss, all
Wow, the chorus is so powerful.
the world stops for us. Only love is
It sounds so anthemic and so Delta Goodrem.
where we live.
I'm a sucker for ballads with upbeat melody. Yeah, this head note was exactly what I now wanted to hear.
Perfect timing. I call.
The visual is so beautiful. We can just transport it like this to the Eurovision stage with this blinking lights behind her. Amazing. This vocals, she's one of a kind.
All my life for a night like this. The world
I love this beat. Of course, piano solo, this is totally a trademark of Delta.
one touch, one kiss.
Even key change, she knows what Eurovision needs. I absolutely love this. And what an amazing way of ending the song as well. Well, what can I say? I'm kind of speechless. It's just so beautiful, so amazing. I'm so proud of seeing Delta Goodrem in Eurovision with such a banger of a song. Makes me quite emotional because I'm just so proud of her, and I just can't wait to see her smashing the stage and the competition in Vienna. But now let's take a closer look at the lyrics of the song to see what message Delta is giving us here. Already in the first verse, the message very much comes through. Planets are aligning to love as one. She's talking about the celestial signs, omens like eclipse, which are rare, which requires perfect timing, but when it happens, the world just stops for us and only love exists. I think this is a very beautiful and cleverly constructed text. She's probably referring to the fact that last year she got married to her already long-time boyfriend, so for her the stars very much aligned, the eclipse, and I'm just glad that now she's bringing this positive message with her to the Eurovision stage. I was already totally on board after the first listen, but now let's just go for the second one and see, maybe I have missed something.
Dancing with the sun, planets.
It starts almost like an acoustic version, very tenderly, very gently, just this harp sounds, piano, just the same note, just repeated all over again in the background. It doesn't seem to me like she will start the song at the piano. I think she will just stand somewhere with, dimmed light, just spotlight on her, and then probably later she will go down to the piano, will take a seat there, and then will just play her soul out.
One touch, one kiss, all my life.
Already from the first seconds of the chorus, it's just so anthemic, so memorable. I already want to sing along, even though I don't know the song yet so well. And this beat is just amazing, just elevates the song, makes it more captivating. I already hear how the audience goes wild right here in the end of the first chorus.
Gravity is pulling your heart.
In this part, you just really want this kind of haunting lights, just blinking from different corners around her. It can be such a beautiful and mesmerizing visual. And on this high note, entering the second chorus is just such a banger. The song will be totally on repeat in my playlist for the next few months at least. This part is just such a cool reference to one of her most successful songs, Wings from 2015, I believe. I'm sure that this is not a random coincidence because it's literally her only one single where she did something like that. Yes! All my life for another thing. Doesn't it give you winner vibes? It just has this perfect formula of this anthemic, amazing, winning song. I have to admit, when I first saw that Delta Goodrem might be a potential representative of Australia, I sort of panicked. I love her so much. If she goes to Eurovision, I want her to bring the best song ever. To win this competition, any place in below 1 would be just a robbery. And oh boy, she hasn't disappointed. She has only overexceeded the expectations and has just proven to all her fans that even without her label, she can still produce even better songs. I can already see this very much becoming a #1 single, at least in Australia, and hopefully it will be her international success as well. But now let's take a look at how Australia actually did in Eurovision Song Contest semi-finals in the last 5 and 15 years. So it started absolutely amazing in 2015 when Australia was invited as a guest act. That time they didn't perform in the Eurovision semi-final, they started to participate in the semi-finals in 2016, and as you can see, they ranked as country #3 in comparison to all 15 countries taking place in semi-final #2 of Eurovision 2026, so it means they're kind of one of the biggest favorites when it comes to the jury voting, and I think sending Delta Goodrem with this song very much solidifies that probably they will be this #1 in the jury voting again. When we look, however, at their televoting results, and especially last year's where there were no juries voting in the semifinals, you can see that Australia struggled a little bit. This year, however, Delta, with her professionalism, she has also enough fans in Europe who will very much vote for her, for sure, will qualify in accordance with the televoters. So I think this year, all these historical records are sort of irrelevant. I have already told you that Australia will perform in the second semifinal, so now you can see on your screen that Australia will be in its second half. Usually Australia gets its highest marks actually from Sweden. Sweden is unfortunately not in this semi-final, but we have United Kingdom voting in this one, and I'm sure they will give a lot of points to Delta. In any case, it's perfect that Delta Goodrem will perform in the second half of this second semi-final. I will not be surprised if the producers will put her to perform less, because I think she's such a big name. Everyone will just watch the semi-final until the end just to see her. But now let's take a look at the betting odds and see how the bookmakers think Australia can do this year. So as you can see on your screen right now, when I'm filming this video, Australia is ranked 4th, and Australia was constantly growing in the last hours. Before the song release, Australia was still ranked 12th. After the song release, immediately jumped to place 8, and now you can see it's already place 4, and I'm not surprised if when now you're watching this, Australia is even higher. So I really think it's a big contender this year, just knowing how strong Delta is as a vocalist, as a performer. I'm sure she will just get the audience, and for sure she will convince the juries with all her experience and professionalism. I'm quite curious to take a look now how the Eurovision fans have responded to this, because this is actually a perfect formula for Eurovision. I feel like Eurovision fans should also love this, but usually they need a little bit of time to get used to the song and understand where to rank it. So as you can see on your screen, at this point of time, Australia is ranked 6th. It's still below Croatia, Greece, Cyprus, Denmark, Finland, but above, of course, everyone else. I'm sure with time she will climb, especially when she will perform the song somewhere live, because it's hard to compare her official music video to the live performances from, let's say, Finland, Greece, because you will see how convincing of an artist she is, how amazing her delivery is, and I'm sure she will get some additional positions after that. So this is what I had to say about Australian entry for Eurovision 2026. Delta Goodrem, still can't believe this. With the song Eclipse, I think it's a very, very strong contender to fight for victory in Vienna. Maybe it's finally time for the first Australian victory in Eurovision. Where would they then host Eurovision? Would it be UK again, like after the win of Ukraine, or in Germany, as it was planned initially when Australia debuted in 2015, in case they would win? So I hope you have enjoyed this analysis. I hope you have learned something new about this amazing singer, about this fighter who finally made her way to the Eurovision Song Contest. And if you would like to see more Eurovision content from me, definitely hit that subscribe button. This would help my channel enormously. See you in the next one. Bye bye.